Tonight, as we continue to celebrate Black History Month, I take you to Lake County, where there is an effort underway to remember a fallen hero with a proclamation dedicating a day in his honor every year. Here is what I learned about Roosevelt Braggs Jr. and his legacy that lives on in Painesville. Laughing with family comes easy here, but amidst the joy they find together.
Life is not measured by the number of breaths we take, but by the moments that take our breath away.
Also lives a shared grief.
So when he first went into the service,
that weighs especially heavy.
It was
on the heart of Mary Smith.
It was kind of rough because I didn't want him to go.
Her baby brother, Roosevelt Braggs Jr., Junior Boy, as they called him, died in Vietnam. The kind of pain not even more than half a century can ease.
Some, but not much. We were so close.
I found Roosevelt's senior yearbook at Morley Library in Painesville. He graduated from Harvey High in 1968.
Roosevelt Braggs.
He loved his family, friends, community, his girlfriend, and his red Camaro, says niece Patricia Drury.
When you see that red Camaro coming by, you knew it was him. He had his friends in there riding.
He also loved...
His fans came out in record-setting numbers.
Baseball. His nephew, Larry Gwynn.
Just a great man.
Remembers watching games with his uncle Junior Boy.
Do you think he would have tried to keep playing it professionally? Was that a dream of his?
It probably was. I never got the chance to talk to him about it.
From the baseball field to the battlefield, war came calling. Roosevelt was drafted into the U.S. Army and began his tour of duty in February 1970.
We would write each other practically every week.
I remember when he went to the service, he sent us all some money back when he got his first check.
Selfless service, how he both lived and died.
Well, I saw it on TV the night before, but...
A 20-year-old Painesville man has become a victim of enemy fire in Vietnam.
I never thought it was him.
The results of enemy fire by ambush.
Private Roosevelt Braggs Jr. was killed in action less than 4 months into his tour of duty. His family wasn't told much.
He was not supposed to be in that spot at that time. One of the guys was sick and didn't feel well, and so he offered to take his spot.
A 2021 article in the Omaha World Herald provides more detail. It's about a reunion between two veterans. We learn one of them was with Roosevelt the night of the attack on the South Vietnam fuel farm. It describes how Private Roosevelt landed atop the Sergeant First Class when a lit satchel bomb was thrown into their building. If his body wasn't there, my body would have been cut in half, he's quoted, tearing up at the memory. I talked with a reporter who told me the veteran absolutely wanted to make sure Roosevelt and the 6 other soldiers killed in the battle were not forgotten.
He is deserving of remembrance, and he is a fallen hero.
I think he would want to be remembered as he loved people, and he would like people to love him.
Her brother's name forever etched alongside his fallen brothers, including in Painesville. Braggs Field at Kiwanis Rec Park is dedicated to Roosevelt Braggs Jr., member of the 1963 Little League State Championship team, and in memorial of the Harvey High alumni who lost their lives in the Vietnam War.
I always say whoever I'm with, that's my uncle. Braggs Field, that's my Uncle June Boy.
Roosevelt's commendations include the Bronze Star and the Purple Heart, among others.
What a powerful story there, and hearing from his sister. She said, that was my baby brother. He wrote me every week.
So hard on them, and still to this day, and they talk about, how he was like so many young people who were called to a world away, and, they left their lives. They were just living their lives, and, we lost so many, so. But
fascinating.
Prayers for them, and we'll keep you posted on that proclamation for Roosevelt as well in Painesville. But I want to thank the family so much for sharing your memories and your time.